Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cult Classics Podcast. We're in the midst of our Halloween season here.
Greetings and salutations.
There we go. Cameron Jones here, as always, with my co-host.
Mark Nussle Crow.
Jordan Bones.
And featuring special guest.
I don't have a clever name. I'm sorry, guys.
Chris Rymer. Chris Rymer.
It's Chris Rymer. You may have heard him this whole Halloween season.
As we try to do every year, we try to give you scare. We try to give you a kids one. This is our kids one this year. We're giving you Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, is bored with doing the same thing every year for Halloween. One day, he stumbles into Christmas Town and is so taken with the idea of Christmas that he tries to get the resident bats, ghouls, and goblins of Halloween Town to help him put on Christmas instead of Halloween. But alas, they can't get it quite right. After kidnapping Sandy Claus and trying to throw their own Christmas, things start to go haywire. Can Jack and the people of Halloween Town save the day and bring the Christmas spirit? Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
I feel like we have to specify from the mind of Tim Burton.
True.
But from the director Henry Selick.
From the guy who brought you Coraline and James and the Giant Peach, starring Denny Elfman, Chris Sarandon, Cathra O'Hara, William Hickey, Glenn Shaddix, and Greg Proops.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie? The debate goes on.
There's a good chance it's neither. We'll get into it.
That's fair. What's this? It's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993 or 4? What do you guys have?
I have three.
I have 3 as well.
I like when he quizzes us at the top.
That was just a good old fashioned Mark power play. Just seeing if we're playing along at home.
Does everybody get a point?
All right, The Nightmare Before Christmas, directed by Henry Selick, also directed Coraline and James and the Giant Peach. Often movies that I get confused with being Tim Burton direction.
Tim Burton. Yeah, makes sense.
Guys, these are all from the mind of Tim Burton, I think.
God damn it, Jordan.
That's
four
what it
shots,
says.
Everybody. That's 4.
All
That's a
right, keep
beautiful
them
mind.
coming.
This movie's written by Tim Burton. That's why you're seeing so many tropes and vibes.
And his name all over
The
it.
story and characters are written by Tim Burton. Caroline Thompson also wrote this. She did the screenplay, and Michael McDowell did the adaptation. There's a lot of Venn diagram and overlapping with a lot of these writers with Tim Burton. Caroline Thompson also wrote Edward Scissorhands and The Corpse Bride, which Tim Burton directed.
That one was straight up him.
Straight up Tim Burton direction. And then Michael McDowell also wrote on Tim Burton's Beetlejuice.
Do you feel like Tim Burton with Corpse Bride was like, God damn it, that Nightmare Before Christmas was so popular. I gotta get in all the way on this one.
I'm going to get to that in another category, but it does seem the refined Nightmare Before Christmas, if you ask me.
Original score by Danny Elfman himself. Also Frankenweenie, Mars Attacks, and Corpse Bride.
Danny Elfman and Tim Burton, of course, had a long relationship, some of which we'll get to in Unverified.
Henry Selick also has some interesting like animation art department credits that I thought were interesting. He was an uncredited artist on Pete's Dragon, like the original 1977 one.
Love that movie.
And then he was like an original, like a in-between artist, they call it, on The Fox and the Hound and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay. Fun. I was going to guess Who Framed Roger Rabbit. All movies I watched a lot repeatedly as a kid.
Brave Little Toaster as well, looks like.
Oh, another one. Another one in the mix. Yeah.
Okay.
What's that song from Pete's Dragon? What's that? Like,
we
Cheer Up
got a
Charlie?
mellow
You're thinking
sail right
Candle on the Water,
here.
maybe?
That one?
Yeah, that one. I think that's
I haven't seen that movie in ages.
Oh yeah, that's good.
There we go.
I was thinking Bill of Sale with the hillbilly kind of family.
No, I kind of
Remember that one?
All right, on to the cast. We have Danny Elfman plays Jack Skellington, along with a couple other. He actually plays the Jack Skellington singing voice. I apologize. Along with a couple other kind of spooky ghouls in the movie. Yeah, like we talked about earlier, he's mostly a composer in the music department for a lot of the movies we've talked about. Uncredited Oompa Loompa voice in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Whoa.
And I guess Bone Jangles in The Corpse Bride. So he's done his a little bit of acting.
Do we like Danny Elfman's singing voice?
Not as much as I like his 80s singing
I
voice.
do. Sure.
Yeah, for the character, sure. Would I buy an album if he like put out some original music?
He did.
Maybe not.
Maybe
He
not.
was the 80s artist. You might remember the Weird Science song. That's Danny Elfman's.
Oh, then yeah, I guess I love him.
Yeah.
I guess I love his music.
Oingo boingo.
Oingo Boingo. He's the 80s band from that. He just does your classic 80s voice like this. Sorry, go on.
No, it's all right. I just thought you were going to keep going. I wanted
No.
to hear it. Chris Sarandon plays Jack Skellington, the actual speaking voice. First husband of Susan Sarandon. It's probably why you recognize the last name.
Is that true?
In a lot of TV stuff, but mostly known for just this Jack Skellington. He's in a lot of like the Kingdom Hearts adaptations of Jack Skellington. He's like in the video games.
As the voice.
Anytime Jack Skellington is in a video game. And he's going to be in our upcoming film.
Wow.
Oh, I
next
did hear
time.
there was going to... Oh, the
He's in
next
Child's
film.
Play. Yeah, he's in Child's Play.
Oh, good for him.
Who had the more lines, Danny Elfman or
Danny
Chris
Elfman.
Sarandon?
And 90% of the song is song.
That's a good point, Chris.
That's actually pretty true, yeah.
He has like... in
because
between-
most of Jack Skellington's non-song parts is just
Just real
pondering
quick,
up in his
yeah.
little...
It's just like
Yeah, it might even be, it could even be 3 words at a time, but and then, you know,
Yeah.
singing.
And then he says Sandy Claus a whole bunch.
Sandy Claus.
And that night might even be Danny Elfman's just sort of like
That's
Broadway
true.
speaking voice, like
Yeah.
sing speak voice.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara plays Sally, and she also does Shock too. I assume they affect those voices because that didn't really sound like her.
Go back and see our Home Alone and whatever. I mean, Catherine Harris come up a bunch. Something else probably.
In the same vein, Frankenweenie. She's in Frankenweenie.
Oh, nice.
Any
Who's she?
Christopher Guest. We talk about her a lot.
She's great.
William Hickey is Dr. Finkelstein, the voice.
William Hickey being the crazy Uncle Louie in Christmas
Yeah,
Vacation.
the uncle with the cigar. Yeah, he's in.
Go back and
Christmas
see our
Vacation.
episode of Christmas Vacation. Good drop.
The mayor is played by Glenn Shaddix. This is who you guys were talking about, who's in Beetlejuice. He's also in Heathers and Planet of the Apes, the 2001 remake.
Part of the Tim Burton crew.
Oogie Boogie's Boys. Locke is played by literally Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens.
Good old Paul Rubens.
Oh, Paul Rubens.
He's got a little shout out as well in the Batman Returns. He plays Penguin's dad right at the beginning.
Well,
Tim
and this
Burton
was
too, right?
after the controversy. Yeah, that's Tim Burton.
Well, obviously, the connection here is that Tim Burton directed Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and that was actually Danny Elfman's first score ever.
Yeah,
nice.
you can
okay.
really tell that it's Tim Burton when they like tell him Marge sent you,
Yeah.
and they've got that like
Terrifying face.
That's all Burton.
Ken Page plays Oogie Boogie, and I don't want to strike a chord here. I don't want to cause a tiff, but he's in All Dogs Go to Heaven. Cameron Jordan. Isn't that the movie that you guys fought over?
Is he the alligator?
No.
What do you mean?
Then
I'll tell you off in between next segment. It's a different thing.
I guess it affected some people more than others.
nothing to do with you. You're fine. You're golden. Go back to sleep.
You better not be hating on All Dogs Go to Heaven. I'm just saying.
Okay. He
I'm
also
agnostic. I got no opinion on it either way.
he was nice. He was also in the original original cast or Cats on Broadway. Played Old Deuteronomy.
Was he old Deuteronomy? 'Cause nice.
You
He
guys,
seems to fit that bill.
I know I got the Deuteronomy fan club over here, right? Mark and Cameron, you love Deuteronomy.
No,
You
we
can't
love
say his
Mr.
name right. You don't even
Mistopheles.
know what we love.
We love Mr. Mistopheles.
Yeah, I'm a Mistopheles guy.
Santa is played by Edward Ivory. I didn't recognize him in a lot. Susan McBride plays the Big Witch. We're kind of getting down in some of like the ghouls characters and some of the
after we
chorus
start
voices.
just a voice work, people, we can start dipping off soon. But keep going.
She did the Mulan singing voice though, so at least to be touched on there, I think.
nice.
Who is that girl I see?
Greg
Everybody
Proops.
staring.
Whose-
That one shocked
yeah,
me.
whose line
Did you guys
is it
know that
anyway?
going in?
Greg
No,
Proops?
did not know that going in.
No idea.
That
Whose
makes
line?
me happy.
Yeah,
Gotta
whose
love
line
whose
is
line.
anyway? Greg Proops, if you're not aware.
Actually,
Yeah,
just
he did
over the
several
last 2
voices.
days, I've been touching back into Drew Carey's Improvaganza and Whose Line.
Ooh.
Gotta love those. The rest is kind of chorus stuff where they play a lot of characters. They kind of double up on characters. And then if you do, people listening, there's some cool crossovers, not even just with Tim Burton stuff, but in the art and sound and Foley departments.
Yeah.
People like just take a look.
Animation
it's cool
stuff.
Animation
there's
stuff.
a lot of crossover there too.
I mean, a good amount of work went into that department for this movie. So go ahead and show it some respect.
Too much to touch on right now, but go and check it out because it's kind of interesting to look at.
Tons of people got their start and maybe became Leica. Did anybody become Leica from this? I can't remember.
Who can say? Go back and see one of our other episodes.
Possibly.
Just list where we're at in Tim Burton's career.
Give it to me.
Just for fun. So Beetlejuice was 88. Batman, the original, was 89.
Okay.
Edward Scissorhands was 90.
Oh.
Batman Returns was 92. And then sandwiched between this and Ed Wood is From the Mind of Tim Burton, A Nightmare Before Christmas.
And we'll get onto this in a second on Verified, but the reason that this was not directed by Tim Burton is because he was
busy and he's like, I don't want to do stop motion.
He was busy specifically with Batman Returns pre-production stuff and just didn't have the time.
It's his story, correct? Yes.
It is his story. Speaking of which, let's move it on to Unverified. Welcome to the Cult Classic Movie Phone. It's October 13th, 1993, and currently in theaters this month, you could have seen Double Double, Toil and Trouble, the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie.
Fuck yeah.
You
Fatal
could have
Instinct.
seen that in theaters? You can see that in
Who's
theaters.
to say, Jordan?
I don't buy that.
Fatal
Seems
Instinct.
like it could.
The Beverly
That has to be
Hillbillies
straight to
movie.
VHS.
The Beverly
Sorry.
Hillbillies movie.
The Beverly Hillbillies movie.
Wow.
Rudy.
Okay.
Mr. Nanny with
Solid.
the Hulkster. Gettysburg. It turns out that actually played in theaters and not just in your high school TV rolled in. Demolition.
Did they watch it over 4 months or did they just
I was
watch it in
saying.
one setting?
I do love a good high school TV roll-in, though.
Best days ever.
Demolition
They
Man.
don't do that anymore. They just have like smart things everywhere. So
That's
it's like it's just in the unit. So that's sad.
Demolition Man. Cool Runnings.
Fuck yeah.
Go back and see Cool
Go
Runnings.
back and listen to our Cool Runnings episode.
But you chose Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. It took a group of around 100 people 3 years to complete this movie, and for 1 second of film, up to 12 stop-motion moves had to be made.
It's quite amazing.
It's
Let me ask this
tedious,
question. Like,
very
do you think
time-consuming.
that's worth it? Like, box office to...
No.
Like, all that work, like,
But it looks
for
beautiful.
what it is?
Mark, it's
I get it's such
for
a...
the art. Yeah, of course it's worth it.
It's got to be a
fuck the
passion
art.
project, right?
Do I, as myself, think it's worth it? No. But when I see the end product and then I see a time-lapse version of it, how long it takes them to make somebody walk, I'm like, that was worth it. Thanks a lot, guys. I like it. But it's just like
It's
anybody
worth
that
it
makes
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just like anybody that makes a YouTube tutorial. I'm like, thank God there's people like you out there. Now I know how to change my oil and
for
etc.
reference again, we'll go to the Parks and Recreation stand in the place where you were. It's
So
like
you-
3
yeah.
months of
I
work for like
spent 3 weeks.
for like 2 seconds of video.
So you tell me, is it worth it? The budget, what would you guess on a movie like this?
I'm guessing-
only $18 million. I don't know where that goes. I assume
Kind of, but go on.
made a cool 91.5 million.
too bad.
All
It
right.
made its money back.
That's
Box
never
office-
happening
like,
again.
What is that? Like, what do you mean? Like, is that box office? Like,
Yeah, that's like total box office, I think, for the
okay,
movie.
that's huge.
Which is,
That's awesome.
Jordan, you say that,
Yeah.
but then Corpse. I mean, we have a bunch of others we're
Yeah,
going to touch
you got
on.
Corpse Bride.
It seems like we're.
yeah, but those, we're just in a sweet time where movies
Made
made
money,
a lot of
yeah.
money, and those are gone. I don't know, like, the only people really making stop motion is Leica, which are awesome, but they have to make them
Well, who's the,
Oscar-worthy.
Who's like the Wallace and Gromit? It's like
Oh, yeah, there's like
Bad
three.
Bad
That's
Bad
disrespectful.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's that other
Run-
British camp.
We should touch on. I think,
And I guess
just-
Wes Anderson whenever he wants to.
True.
Oh yeah, good point.
Is that
Yeah,
true
like,
stop
Sorry, I was
that's-
disrespectful.
Is that true stop motion or is that just like weird computer?
I think
It might-
it's stop motion.
It's a little bit of both. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Do you know what I think the biggest upgrade, and we're going off on a little bit of tangent, I think it's now that you can shoot digital versus wasting all that money on film, it's made it much more cost effective to make a movie.
Oh
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah. Don't.
All
I
right,
think
anyway.
we should touch on like at least like the origin. I didn't realize this was a poem. So Tim Burton wrote a 3-page poem titled "The Nightmare Before Christmas" when he was a Disney animator in the early 1980s. Burton took inspiration from television specials of the Rudolph and Red-Nosed Reindeer and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's kind of where this all began.
It's
What
kind
if
of
Rudolph was steampunk or whatever?
it's kind of like
There's more to
popularly
this if someone-
known now that like Tim Burton used to work for Disney, but none of his stuff really got sold at the time because it was too dark for them. And then this was the first one that they bought back after the success of Batman. That they were like, oh, he'll pop on this, so let's just sell
Your
him.
box office gold. We'll give you 19 million.
So they sold him back one of the ideas that he made for them, but they intellectually own the rights to. So he was
That's Disney for you.
So they just greenlit an idea he had under them that they still owned. Essentially, is how it got.
There's a little controversy behind that because Selleck is like, they both are kind of fighting for who owns the rights and who made the movie, and Selleck mentioned that it's as though Burton laid the egg and I sat on it and hatched it.
for sure.
Well, because I think he said he was only there for like maybe 5 days of the actual like directing shootings. Like he conceptually made up all the characters and he made up the full poem and he had the idea, but he didn't actually have hands-on doing anything really.
I'm with Selleck on this
to
one.
the point that Disney didn't release it under Disney.
They did release it under Disney, but they released it under Touchstone, which was one
Touchstone,
of their
because they didn't think it was going to be super.
Mark, did you see Tim Burton doing any of this on set? That's how long it takes Jack Skellington to like do something.
Yeah.
I'm with Selleck.
No one can see that, but Jordan was slowly moving things with his hand. No, we touched on this with arachnophobia, but this goes under the Disney Paramount or the Disney just breakaway production companies they had trying to get into more adult films than just kid stuff. See our episode of Arachnophobia.
Yeah, go back and listen. I like it though because it creates this perfect, like family friendly horror genre. It's like not quite PG-13, but almost, So like the whole family can watch it, be a little scared, be a little amused. I really do enjoy it. It's like horror for all ages.
This was something I had just on repeat as a kid, so I did love it.
And it's a double watch. If you're like me.
What do you guys think of this? Originally, the Oogie Boogie was originally intended to be Dr. Finkelstein in disguise. There was a whole thing where Sally was going to be more of a love interest instead of being like a daughter figure, where he was going to be jealous of Jack and Sally's relationship, so he was trying to destroy everything. I don't care either way.
So I guess I was going to bring up this a little bit in questions, comments, animosities. Mm-hmm. The love interest, whatever that is, but the boogeyman,
shoehorned.
The boogeyman doesn't really have much connection with the movie except we just toss him in. So
we know he's real bad, and then Jack doesn't like him.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to have some connection to the rest of the story. True. Except he's just down there booging away with his.
I do love Oogie
Yeah.
Boogie.
Okay. Anyway,
I had one just that in terms of like casting. So Danny Elfman, wrote all these songs as Jack Skellington because he found a lot in common with Jack Skellington. So he said it was one of the easiest jobs he ever had. And then
I thought that was cool too. Like all the songs are really well written. I think
they're very
very Broadway. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's very musical,
like just like spoken word song form. But then that they cast Chris Sarandon after that. To sort of match Danny Elfman's singing voice,
and it works. I feel like
that's what they say.
There.
I kind of always just thought it was Danny.
It's a very seamless voice.
Speaking of voices, you guys remember that very brief like narration at the beginning of the film? Mm-hmm. That was originally Patrick Stewart, and you can still hear his voice on the theatrical
Who is it now?
CD. I don't know. Probably who's the old guy he uses as the judge and is like, it's that guy. It's always that guy.
Go back and listen to our Sleepy Hollow. It's the judge.
It's that guy. It's
the judge. It's that.
Oh, but you can still. I'm sorry. You said you can still hear it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, the original CD it has like some extended songs that didn't make the cut, and also some of the original narrators, such as Patrick Stewart. There was also a storyline where Santa was there was another song number at the end of the film where Santa was gonna come back and visit Jack 1 year later, or a couple of years later, and he was gonna have a bunch of boned kids with Sally, but that song got cut. But I guess it's still on some sort of theatrical release CD.
Boned.
Nice.
Is Hidden Mickey a thing? Is that something in like Disney? Is like Hidden Mickeys? Is that a thing?
They do try to put it in there.
They have a lot of Easter eggs, not necessarily.
There's
maybe
apparently a
specifically
Hidden
that.
Mickey in this.
Yeah, it's like on a table.
On the table where Jack is doing I actually didn't even notice it, but I didn't realize Hidden Mickeys were a thing.
Well, I wouldn't say Hidden Mickeys.
Not always
it's just
hidden.
They used to
Disney
be.
has like a lot of just Easter eggs, like I don't know, like Belle being in the Hunchback,
Beauty and the
like
Beast.
Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, things like that. They just slip things in.
Okay.
It's just an Easter egg. Okay, so I did allude to this earlier. So Tim Burton and Danny Elfman have had a long collaboration over the years working on all their stuff. Danny Elfman had his first writing experience scoring for Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was directed by Tim Burton, before Danny Elfman was the singer in the band.
Oingo Boingo.
You might remember Weird Science, other awesome 80s songs. But it was...
I think he was in another, like a teen, like in like a middle school band called like Danny and the Teens or something like
that's
that.
fun.
Oh, that's
Danny and the Elfman.
Go dig deeper and
That's what you go to, Danny and the Elfmans.
But it is
that'd be a
known
good
that
one.
Tim Burton and Danny Elfman had creative differences during this filming, which is code for they had a big fight and they didn't talk for a while after this. This is why Burton chose Howard Shore to write the film score of Ed Wood, and they had a little gap, but now they're back together. Obviously, they always work together.
Full disclosure, I've never seen Ed Wood, but I will sometime.
Neither have I.
I don't know much about Danny Elfman or Tim Burton, but just based on how they've created the aesthetic of their lives, probably Tim Burton's more difficult to deal with, wouldn't you think?
Oh, I got a fact for you then, if you're interested in that. Oh, tell me I wrote this down.
Oh, I didn't say I was interested.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
well, essentially, when Tim Burton was given the idea of Finkelstein being Oogie Boogie the whole time, something is Finkel.
Oh yeah, I know.
He kicked a hole in the wall and was like, "That's preposterous. That would never happen." And I don't know, threw a fit. So yeah, seems like not the most fun.
He seems like a pretty intense guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave you on this little fact, and this will lead us into maybe
It's just from the mind of Tim Burton.
No. That's just what Henry Selick's saying. No. I'm going to give you the release date because I think we'll get into, is this a Christmas movie? Is this a Halloween movie? What type of movie is this?
Or another.
Coming up in Question Osmonds. Release date, October 13th. You tell me. A lot of Christmas movies put out on October 13th? I don't know.
It's right at the start of the holiday season. And on that note, should we get into questions?
Comments.
Don't do that.
Animosities.
Questions, comments, animosity.
Comment. I loved this movie as a kid. I watched it religiously. It was like the second most rented thing. From
Religiously? Were you one of those weird goth kids that like...
I'm talking
Or
really.
Jack
I'm talking,
Skellington.
Only wear a Nightmare Before Christmas sweatshirt.
Hey, yo. 1993. I was 3. It was up there, though, with like this and Donkey Kong Jr. is my most rented thing from 2001 video in Manchester, Iowa. I used to love this. Times have changed a little bit how I
It is
feel
a
on
great
it.
movie.
But it's not my favorite
say
Tim
this-
Burton claymation stop motion now, but I loved it. Go on.
It's
Sorry.
a perennial.
This was a hit for the goth girls in early 2000s.
True.
Yeah.
It still is. It still is.
Yeah. I think it's still
Hot
a hot
Topic will
topic.
still
Yeah.
sell a Jack Skellington shirt.
I'll buy a fucking Jack Skellington t-shirt right now.
The imagery of Jack Skellington in front of the moon
True.
is iconic and will still like be with goth people and ever. So like that's not going out of style. That's probably like bigger than the actual movie itself to said goth people. Yeah.
Slight animosity. I could only find the sing-along version on Disney Plus, and I couldn't get out of it. So I had
So you sang along.
Well, I'll tell you this, though. Here's another animosity I have, and you guys are going to hate this. But lyrically, melodically, it's not the catchiest of tune. Like, there aren't a lot of rhymes.
The
because-
melodies are good, though.
Not always. It's usually very... No, it's very describey. A lot of the times, he's just like, I'm just saying a sentence, and then fitting syllably would has to fit into that gap there to get to points. Yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
I'm not saying they're catchy songs, but he's just singing
at
about
all.
his life.
Yeah, because they have the most rhymes. Everything else is either off rhymes or just a sentence, but like just following the orchestra. It worked for me as a kid, but now it really bugs me how not catchy it is.
Well, you brought up a subject that for whatever reason, I didn't see this before last year, and this is
you're a
only the
first-timer.
second time I've ever
Okay,
seen it.
wow.
So, no, I watched it. I kind of fell asleep the first time with Megan. Like, we actually watched it after Halloween, but before Christmas. We're like, I don't
Maybe
know
the
where we're
perfect
at,
time
but we
for
can
it.
probably watch this now, right?
Hold on. Go finish your statement.
Okay, here we
Hold on.
go.
Oh, I was just saying because I'm not nostalgic about it. I don't hold it with the same reverence and like nostalgia that the three of you do and a lot of people do, but I appreciated it for the artistry and the weirdness of it now as an adult. But it is slightly a little boring because of Jack Skellington just
get
talking
that.
and singing. the whole time.
Okay, if you hate musicals, you're not gonna like it.
I would say this one caters also.
I'm not
No,
saying
I like musicals. Do you know what I thought during these songs? I'd be like, oh, I'd love this director to get a hold of the music. I'd love this director, not Lin-Manuel Miranda, but I would have loved the South Park people to kind of
Here's what I'll
collab on
say,
this.
maybe.
Really
I think
tear it
this-
up.
lean into the comedy instead of the tragedy.
This movie also caters, I think, to a younger crowd than like some of the other stop motion claymation. So some of the lyrics are very described, like "Here comes Jack, he's coming round the corner now. What will Jack say?" So it's I think maybe a little for a younger.
yeah.
Oh, I do want to say, like, just in Tim Burton in general, the older I get, we all grew up and he was a mainstream director that made weird stuff. Isn't it baffling that societally he was a mainstream directing like $19 to $20 million movies and then Batman? It's baffling that he went from Beetlejuice
Yeah, from
to
like
this.
Pee Wee's
that he
Big
started on
Adventure,
Pee Wee's.
like,
It doesn't make any
It is
sense.
a crazy trajectory. But then think of Jon Favreau and like Swingers, and then all of a sudden he's like the Marvel guy that raided the whole industry.
Yeah, but that guy wasn't making like steampunk goth movies.
That's
he was
true.
still like
That's
like he
true.
was John Favreau. His was like a more normal trajectory.
Really, it's almost backwards because Tim Burton's making huge movies even before this.
Well, that's what we're saying. How did
know.
we get to these to how?
He made to me an improbable jump that he ever got Batman and that he became a mainstream director. And now he's not making like original stuff. He's just like remaking things and is on Disney's payroll. So it's kind of like, he's past his creative prime,
Yeah.
but still doing stuff.
He's got a whole
It's
aesthetic.
just baffling. He makes the weirdest shit. Like Edward Scissorhands. Come on, we all saw that. Everybody's seen it. Your grandpa's seen it. Your grandma's seen it. Maybe probably not. But you know what I mean? You know what? Now that I come to think of it, neither of mine have either. But they know what it is. They get the references.
They've definitely heard it
right.
said somewhere.
Is that a Christmas movie?
Just honest question. So this is a scary land of Halloween. How dark is it that Finkelstein has like a corpse bride locked up? Like, do people know about that? Because Jack, like, people obviously know about Sally in town.
I think that's perfectly normal in Halloween Town. I think that's just something that you do.
Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Can I send a shout out to Sally for trying to poison Finkelstein the whole time?
Yeah.
Way to carry an extra spoon on you. That is somebody who's tried to poison someone a lot.
Or been in prison. Yeah, sure.
Slotted spoon. You got it in your sock? Because I do. Because
Can I throw an animosity at Sally? You're rewarding her poisoning. Animosity. If she's like a tied up like chamber and dungeon situation, everyone knows and doesn't care, just kill him. Just bash him in the head with something. Stop this poison business and just escape. And in fact, she gets out a bunch. Stop going back. Why does she keep going back?
So I have actually the biggest question. Is everybody in Halloween Town or whatever their village is called? They're all dead, right? Can they die?
Or a
Can
ghoul.
you kill him?
I think there's different categories. They're dead people. There's ghouls.
I
There's jokesters and tricksters.
I did have some questions about exactly the criteria to become part of Halloween Town. Like, could I just die and go there? Do I have to be some sort of immortal ghoul?
Well, if you notice, Jack Skellington, to get back there, just went into a grave, and I guess does all grave go there? Could you just be like a goth kid? Could you get in there by some loophole?
I'm led
being
to believe
a
those
goth kid?
tricksters might be just that. Yeah.
I'm in camp. You can be dead, alive, or in between.
You definitely got your witches, vampires present, werewolf, a mayor with split personality, a clown that moves his face, the
I'd say
trick or
it's
treaters,
anything in the vein and spirit of Halloween.
Oogie Boogie, then a bunch of just dead bodies and skeletons.
Yeah, there's skeletons.
I mean, shit, Jordan. There was a hanging tree that was alive and singing.
There's ghost dogs.
That's true.
There's
That's
jazz
true.
bands on the street.
So could the whole city of New Orleans just get a pass?
Possibly.
Could New Orleans be there
I
just
mean,
because
the
it's
Oogie
spooky
Boogie
enough?
band seems very
Creole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just imagine this comment. Imagine how trippy it would be for us to go camping, then end up in a forest where like every 300, 400, 500 yards is just a different season. Because it seems like that forest is all connected and you don't have to go through the doors to get to that land. Jack just walked to the entrances. I'm led to believe everybody could, if you just walk far enough on their outskirts, just accidentally bump into each other. So imagine just...
Oh, yeah. No, well, there seems to be magic portal there.
Well, like, he just walks to those tree openings in his woods. So I imagine they all are just, like, connected, right? And
Or maybe
that's just like a fast-track
everybody
portal.
just has different versions of those portals.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. But the point is...
Because he goes through the portal and he ends up in a whole
but he
different
walks
world.
to all those doors from his world.
Well, so I would assume each world has access to all the doors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think if you walk anywhere in a day's pondering worth and singing, whatever Jack
I'd probably
did,
say From the center of town,
through the
6
pumpkin
feet,
patch.
and whatever that translates into from stop motion to real life, probably 4 miles.
About 3
Yeah,
years and
that's-
100 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about 7,000 feet of film, and good God, I can tell you what. If Jack Skellington went to St. Patty's World, like all of his missteps and creepiness, everybody would have been having a blast with it. Like, can you see the shrunken head? Can you believe there's snakes and spiders everywhere? We're all wasted.
So comment seems like the real answer here, and we don't get a defined thing at the end. I mean, I'm jumping ahead maybe a bit there, but it seems like Jack just needs a holiday in Christmas Town, because like they just finished Halloween Town. They have like 300 plus days. Like, just go take some time in Christmas Town. Don't change your vibe, but just blow off some steam. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah. Is it Halloween every day in Halloween Town? Because
I think so.
If that's the case, then it really fucked things up with Santa bringing snow there.
Right. So like,
But-
they never see snow. I mean,
Again, though, it's much like the movie Halloween Town. Although it is not Halloween every day is Halloween in an aspect. Everything.
Yeah, they live it.
is
They live it
centered
every day.
around
okay.
that.
So I'm saying
But it's not the actual 31st every
Mid-February.
day.
Does it feel like October 31st or does it feel like mid-February?
October 31st.
31st, I think.
Yeah, Magical Woods.
Because you're amped up. You're ramped up for all
okay.
year.
It's always just in a state of like a recycle of October,
Yeah.
just the month.
Oh, I got a question. Here's a shout out to Jack Skellington.
Mm-hmm.
He missed the mark on a lot of Christmas, but he did pretty damn well for not knowing it that much as a holiday.
He loved it.
You also think, though, his intel was from Halloween to Christmas, so he spent a lot of time trying
he
to
thought
figure
about
it
a
out.
year for it. So that's true. He actually
Well, not a
did
year,
mess
but
up
he
pretty
had like
bad.
a month and a half, 2 months to try to figure this shit out.
Oh yeah, then that wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah, it's
he
not
was
too
just up there
shabby.
pondering. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. He definitely shouldn't have pushed. Like, he should have vacationed in Christmas Town and not tried to push it on the rest of Halloween Town. Yeah.
Now-
take time off after Halloween. Blow some steam. Live the joy. of Christmas.
Did they skip Halloween that year?
No, we come into the movie.
No, we end on
We're
Halloween.
coming at the end of a great Halloween where Jack blew it out of the park again.
Okay, and then so we're saying it's all in a 2-month period.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I guess is kind of confusing because it seems like Jack's up in his study
Yeah,
for
it
about
seem-
7 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll also comment on that. Not only does Jack not understand Christmas fully, but I'm led to believe he doesn't understand science or math either. Because his equation is like Christmas hat plus claws equals like candy cane equals Christmas. He's writing down nonsense.
Or is he a genius? I actually, yeah.
I
That checks.
only got past. I only made it to an algebra level math education, but that's not how it works.
I do enjoy the way the stop motion looks in Christmas Town. I thought they nailed it. So even though I do believe this is a Halloween movie, that did give me a little bit like, oh, maybe.
Well, he's definitely.
maybe you get a little Christmas
They were definitely
feels.
getting inspiration from those old stop motion like Christmas things. So,
But they kinda nailed
I do
it.
believe though they did say they took inspiration for that downtown specifically from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I saw
And it looks like it.
trickled down from Unverified, but I saw a few different like origins of exactly what gave Tim Burton the idea. But I think it was he was seeing like the day after Halloween, Christmas decorations being taken down with Christmas stuff being put up right next to it, and he just thought the juxtaposition was kind of just funny how we're cramming it together
that's
already.
definitely unverified.
So in '93 we're already doing that, but now it's at a whole new level.
And actually it's probably one of my favorite like just counters like to Halloween versus Christmas. Like I feel like it's just a perfect counter aesthetic.
Chris is right. Bring back Thanksgiving.
I do.
There's
I
one.
mean, you love Thanksgiving more and more as an adult. You're right.
Thanksgiving has been at least commercially skipped over completely.
There's nothing,
And
nothing
maybe
profitable about it. Cornucopias.
From
What
a
do you do?
yeah, well, from a like a decoration standpoint, and maybe
You guys clearly don't know about the
Pumpkin
turkey
pie.
industry.
no, it's a great holiday, but you go straight from decorating from Halloween to Christmas immediately. People don't. There are no cornucopias anymore.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No, but people buy a turkey. Huh?
Hey, just question for you guys. Why are those trick or treaters so like subservient to the Oogie Boogeyman and so loyal? If Jack is the king of the pumpkin patch or whatever, Why? What's
That's
the
easy.
What's the deal with the Oogie Boogie
That's
man?
easy. He's got a dangerous appeal.
I don't
He's
know.
dangerous.
We needed a bad guy.
He's dangerous. He's
Lock,
dangerous.
stock, and barrel. They love
You're
danger.
dangerous, Boogie.
They're just kids. They're just kids.
They're mischievous.
What I do have a question about those three. What we got? They were dead kids. Are they born in Halloween Town? Like, what's their
the
story?
spirit- they're
They're havoc. They're the spirit of Halloween.
They're
They're trick.
tricksters, Jordan.
You
They're
know
tricksters.
Sam Wayne in Trick or Treat, how it's just the pumpkin like head trick or treating.
Spirit
Okay,
of
It's the
there's
Disney
that.
version of that.
It's just the spirit of Halloween.
I
guys.
got you.
It seems like Oogie Boogie should be like
The king.
sort of touted as like
He
included
seems like
with
he
all
would
of it.
be like the one to try to take the throne from Jack Skellington.
He should be the mayor. There shouldn't even be a mayor.
Heard the Oogie Boogie Man started in Easterland, and they're like, we don't like this vibe at all. You gotta get out of
This doesn't
Easterland.
vibe with eggs. Be it
Oh,
bunnies and
animosity.
Jesus.
How did they catch the bunny so easily, and then it took like literally like over a month for them?
Oh, Mark, they
lock,
they
shock,
just
and
knocked on the door
barrel.
and bagged him. I don't think it took that long. I just think they're shitty kids. And
I think
bad at their job.
Easter-
rabbit.
They're just.
I think Easterland is you open the door and the Easter bunny's
I
just
think
there.
I think
there.
they got them
Yeah.
both pretty quick.
The bunny's
I
in the
don't think
cave.
they got anywhere
They
to
didn't
do,
show them eating the Easter bunny afterwards.
The bunny's already snared, huh? I forgot the military got involved. Forgot the military.
Oh,
got
yeah.
involved.
Why would you
Yep,
take?
shot him
Okay,
down.
why are you taking the chance on Christmas Eve? Why wouldn't you just suspect that that's Santa Claus? Just maybe.
Oh, you're saying if you're the
Yeah.
military, why are you always shooting down
Yeah.
stuff?
So you're saying Santa's turned on them? They're like, he's turned on us, and we need to. Well, maybe that is what they're thinking. We need to take him down.
Yeah, pre 9/11. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Does anyone else just comment surprised that the other mascots like don't really seem to know of each other or even the other lands? Seems like they would have some union meetings or just something, you know.
Well,
be
that's why I was
aware.
asking if it was Halloween every day.
What is that from? Is that from some stupid like Christmas movie where the
I feel
Maybe
like
the
one
Santa
of
Claus
the
too.
one of the Santa Clauses for sure has that type of scenario.
yeah, okay.
I don't think they do know of other worlds. I mean, maybe Santa Claus does because he's all knowing or something. He seems to have a little more, but that Easter bunny just got his.
Oh
world
yeah, he's
rocked.
never going to be this.
Don't
Easter's
expect
never gonna
any
be the
fucking
same.
That
chocolate.
Easter bunny got eaten.
it's over. That is
I'm
done.
almost positive.
Yeah, we're thinking lock, stock, and barrel. Just put him back.
Just
Nah.
ate him. They.
I don't think so. Do you know what the scariest part of this movie? Okay, well, the scariest part is when we see that the Oogie Boogie Man or whatever his name is he's
Oh
just
yeah,
all
that's
bugged.
that's
I don't
the
like
most
that at
frightening.
all.
He should just
And
stay
under
as
some
that.
and
That's
under
more
some
frightening.
black light. Where does he get the black lights from?
I don't know if he can. He needs something to keep it all in.
Yeah.
Not-
It's like a
So he
sausage.
could really
case.
be
Yes,
It's
more
like a
frightening as
sausage
bugs
case.
than a sack.
Well,
But
he
do you know
can't.
what's-
It's like a sausage.
Do you know what's almost like only a close second to it? It's the actual humans in real world
Terrifying.
Christmas. I don't like the way they look
agree
at
with
all. That's scarier than anything
Very
going on in
malnourished.
Halloween Town. I don't like it
Santa
at all.
himself is a little off-putting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. He's like a Deadly Night, Holy Night.
Not too jolly, is
No,
it?
he's kind of in Santa's defense, he has reasons to be a little grumpy
True.
and mean about the whole
does-
situation. He
It
did
does
get
seem
kidnapped.
like he should have a little more magic and be able to help himself out of the situation a little more, especially when he like just up the tube at the end and he does have a little bit of Santa's magic. So I mean,
Yeah, but maybe it's like the Schwartz. He's got the upside, I got the tail
got
side.
you,
You know,
okay.
like you can't really have it down in Halloween Town.
Well, it's
if
like in
you're
the Santa Claus when Charlie's explaining how he goes to the furnace. It's kind of like a
sound effects important.
Although Santa got out of Halloween Town real quick once he was untied. He's like zip zip.
He's
zoom.
magic.
He's magic.
He got out of there. There was magic
Jack
there.
was lucky. It could have been a disaster.
I think he knew that. Santa knows everything. Santa knows everything, and he knew that Jack was well intentioned.
Says to the
think
guy that
just
got
naughty or
like
nice,
put in
no?
his sack and carried away. He knows all of Chris.
He didn't.
Animosity. The love interest between Sally and Jack just kind of comes out of nowhere. One, I still have
yeah.
questions about whether or not people even know she's in the community since she was created and kept as a prisoner in Finkelstein's basement. So there's
Yes,
weirdness
people
with
know she's part of the community.
Jack sure talks to her like she is, but at the end of the movie, he's like, "Oh, Sally, I've always known you were the one for me. That girl that's sometimes in the shadows in the corner because you're locked away in a basement."
Yeah, their little romantic movie to end the movie. Sorry, their little romantic portion to
It's
end
just
the movie.
odd. It's
Came
unnecessary.
out of nowhere. It just came out of
I
nowhere.
believe in love.
Hey,
I get it.
We just don't. We didn't follow a love story leading up to that point.
I don't think people filled with leaves have souls.
Well, even the start of
Yeah,
it was
I
just
don't.
like he like saw her sitting up there and was like, "Do you mind if I join you, friend?" we're meant to be together.
I know this is like the longest we've ever talked before, but I think we're gonna hold hands forever.
In Jack's defense, I didn't see anybody that wasn't, like any other romantic character that he could have been involved
which
with.
Is,
I mean, are you saying Sally's his best
90s.
option?
yeah, probably. Just comment to back what we were talking about a second ago, though. The mayor and Oogie Boogie comment, if Jack dies or just does leave to Christmas land, easy peasy. The mayor and Finkelstein the mayor, Finkelstein, and maybe Oogie Boogie take over.
Oogie Boogie takes over.
The mayor clearly says he can't make decisions. Finkelstein's a genius. He's making contraptions. And Oogie Boogie seems to carry the evil. The three of them together, they'll carry the community. They'll be just fine.
That place is going to burn down. Oogie Boogie is just like when Scar takes over Pride Rock. You got hyenas just eating shit everywhere. It's never going to last. It's not sustainable.
That mind, or at least half mind, of Finkelstein, because he put it in his bride. And you got the mayor to keep him in check. Checks and balances, guys.
Here's my impression of the mayor. Jack, what should we do? Jack, what should we do?
There's got to be term limits. The mayor doesn't deserve to be there for more than 8
Jack's
years.
the
He's
king of
done.
Pumpkin
He's ran
Land,
his
Mark.
course.
What do you want? He's a goddamn monarch.
That's not an elected
Let's not
official.
get
There's nothing politics about
here,
that. He's just a monarch.
Let's not get political.
Oh, and also, I like that the police and the mayor are just going through their communities, announcing terrible things like Santa has been there's a terrible thing going on and everyone's terrified. And also the mayor, Jack is dead. Everybody despair. I like that there's a town crier just telling everyone the terrible news.
Well, it's because it seems like it's a very small community, and if one of them goes missing, they know. And
he's also the king.
They assume dead.
No one else has found this fucking tree circle.
No.
Yeah, when you say one of them goes missing, you means the Pumpkin King or Santa Claus? You're going to start freaking out if those two guys go missing.
Don't forget
who wins
the
in a
Easter
fight,
Bunny.
Halloween Town or Christmas
Halloween
World?
Town.
Nobody gives a shit.
Town. They're vicious.
No. See, that I thought you would say that. It's actually Christmas. You've got the elves' power.
Well, didn't you
You've
see how
got an
resilient the
aerial
Who's
attack. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's Christmas
You're
Town all day.
Finkelstein.
Nothing better than a little fellowship.
Christmas might have magic, but Halloween has tricky evil.
Yeah, so they have monsters and scary stuff, but half of your people are bones or filled with Halloween Town's bodies are falling
Sack of
apart
bugs.
left and right. Yeah, sack of
Jordan,
bugs.
can
that
they
one,
even die?
Yeah.
There's the question. I think they're an invincible army of the undead.
They can. They clearly
Hey,
can.
I asked that question earlier, and you're like, "Yep, some of them can."
Well, some of them are dead already, I think.
We think so. Yeah. Okay.
Well, what did you guys like so much as a kid that you're like, "Oh, that was it"? It's
I
just
think
so
it was
different.
the aesthetic. Just the
And
overall aesthetic was the vibe.
Yeah,
for
it was
me.
just the over-the-top spookiness. And honestly, as much as I hate the lack of rhyming now, but just the theatrical...
The musical was cool.
The
Yeah,
theatrical
it was
sing-songing every aspect of what's happening in the current moment, not necessarily needing to rhyme or having a great melody. I just liked that as a kid. Again, here is Jack, Jack is coming, Jack is back, what's Jack have to say? It was very straightforward as a kid and easy for me to understand. It was easy for me to digest.
I realized
Very
sort of
palatable.
rewatching some movies. I watched Aristocats, and then this movie. I forgot the plot of it. I just liked the songs.
Yeah,
I guess.
honestly...
So I liked This Is Halloween and didn't understand what was going on in the movie.
And that's what
at
I
all.
wonder.
Sure,
is
yeah.
it as a kid that you're seeing Halloween and then Christmas, and you're like, "This is awesome."
Yeah, I think that's probably because honestly, to Mark's point, I haven't watched this since I was a kid, really, and I kind of forgot. I mean, I remember the main.
This is not
the whole
perennial.
plot of
Not
it,
the
yeah,
plot, but
I'm gonna throw my hand up.
any finer points. So it was almost like a first watching again because I haven't seen this since I was single digits.
I guess I would say it's a perennial watch for me, but more, to the point of perhaps just being background. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is 100% for not me, and I probably won't go into it. But Chris, you brought up a good point. So there's so many movies we've done on this podcast that are perennial watches, but when you actually pay attention and focus on them, you watch it in a new light. You're like, man, I forgot about this. And this is why I argue if you have a movie you watch every season, whether it be for Christmas or Halloween, go see it in the theater. Go see it with people because you're going to catch things you didn't catch. You're going to laugh at new things being surrounded by other people. And you're going to be like, oh, this movie has a whole fucking plot? I thought it was just me texting them on my phone and then saying Merry Christmas is shitter's full. You guys get what I'm saying, though.
Just a little tidbit here. Dr. Finkelstein's lips, hate him. Hate everything about him.
Is he a duck?
Soup slurping little lips he's got.
Is he a
hate
duck?
Him.
He's a duck, right?
He's not.
He's duck.
He's not a duck.
Answer from
Duck
Disney
bills don't-
when they in a more force size, whatever it is when you make things more human. Apparently his character in Disney is less ducky, more humany. So no, he's not a duck.
Of course he's not a duck.
I got bad duck vibes from him, though.
He definitely looks like Duckman.
I don't necessarily like a gothic aesthetic or style, but seeing Jack Skellington's frame figure, I'm like, man, you can just wear anything when you're rail thin.
Vertical
and
lines.
And I was jealous of that.
He got rickets.
Sounds like somebody's told Mark it looks like he has rickets.
If only we were so lucky.
So trim.
So I was on Reddit. I've seen people who watch this movie the night before Christmas, no pun intended,
Makes
and
sense.
they watch it as a Halloween movie. So where are we at? Is it just it's both best of both worlds?
This
where are we
is
at?
the big question. Is this a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie? Chris, you've been biting at it. What do you got to say?
It's been chomping at the bit.
It is a Christmas movie that can be enjoyed thoroughly during Halloween.
Whoa! What did you just
It's
say?
a Christmas movie that can be enjoyed thoroughly through Halloween. I would argue.
I am the opposite. It's a
I'm the
Halloween
exact
movie that
opposite.
can thoroughly be joined up until January 1st.
Aesthetically, it is
movie
much more
is
so a Halloween
all
movie.
about Christmas.
May I ask you this? Where does the movie primarily take
In
place?
no,
in
no, no,
Halloween
okay.
Town.
Okay, you're talking setting. I'm talking story and plot line. The movie is thoroughly about Christmas. He learns lessons about what Christmas is.
See, this gets into
he learns.
an interesting.
He learns
area.
that he actually.
Because Chris and I differ on Gremlins, where he thinks that's a Christmas movie.
Full on Christmas movie.
But here, I think we're all saying this has the aesthetic and the
Gremlins is a
feeling.
Christmas movie.
That's why it is.
Mostly of Halloween.
That's why it
despite the
gets
fact
both.
That,
It
despite
gets
the
both
fact
for
that
me.
Jack Skellington.
You gotta take on the feels. You gotta account for the feels and how it makes you feel.
Despite the fact that Jack Skellington is trying to give the Christmas feels, aesthetically and visually, it is a Christmas movie. And although
Chris's
Gremlins
point-
is aesthetically, visually a Christmas movie,
And I
it
agree.
doesn't give me those feels. Christmas movie specifically has to give
Oh,
you the
yes, it
Christmas
does.
spirit.
Are you
Why?
kidding me?
No.
Oh,
It gives you the
Cameron,
Christmas
you take-
spirit.
Cameron,
What-
take Gremlins out. You can't use Gremlins against this. It's in a different category. That is a
It's
Christmas
in
movie.
the
It just
same
is.
category.
It is,
It's-
I am 100% with Mark.
There's tinsel. There's Christmas
It
trees.
does
there's-
look like
there's snow
Christmas,
the whole
but then
time.
there's monsters, and that doesn't feel like Christmas.
And then her dad died in a chimney.
You're saying that every Christmas you've ever
All right,
had.
so-
Oh God, we're like every other podcast on the fucking internet right now.
It just depends. It just depends what you want from your holiday movie. This gives me, though, the plot is Christmas oriented. The feel and the look and the aesthetic makes me feel like Halloween.
You can't use that argument. You can't, like, you're saying there can't be scary stuff at Christmas.
No, I definitely say I think there can be
that's-
macabre and scary and monsters at Christmas, but it's under a new category. It's dark Christmas. It doesn't give me the feeling of the spirit.
No, let's not do subgenres now.
Well, no, here's the whole thing. We've always differed on this, but it has to do with the feel. For a Christmas movie, Halloween movie, Halloween is important on the aesthetic and the visual. Christmas is important on the feel and the message and the aesthetic. It
And
needs all
Gremlins
the
gives me a
above.
little bit
You're
of that.
saying
It does.
Christmas always has to be happy.
Yeah. For Christmas and Christmas movies, yeah.
It's a Wonderful
otherwise
Life. He
yeah,
fucking
100%.
throws himself off a bridge.
Christmas can be
100%.
depressing.
Yeah, Christmas Carol.
But it's a
But
wonderful
there
life.
can't be ghouls and goblins. Got it.
How's it end? How's it end? How do all those end? They
There
learn
you
the
go.
We have Christmas
Great.
movies that are also ghost stories.
Yeah, but how does it end?
Okay, how do most horror movies
Everybody's
end?
dead.
Either or, everyone's dead, or
Okay, how did Nightmare Before Christmas end?
I don't know.
because
Okay.
Happy for all.
We're not getting anywhere here, boys. We're spinning our wheels like it's Christmas Day.
no, we sure aren't. Before this goes on for 2 hours, let us know whether you think this is a
The
Christmas
funny
movie
thing was,
or a Halloween movie.
shut the fuck up,
And let
Gary.
us-
Shut the
and
fuck
let us
up.
know what you think
The
clarifies.
title
Yeah.
does not help.
The
The title
title
does not help
of
your
the
guys' argument
movie.
at all.
No, of course not.
No, it
No.
does. It sure doesn't.
No,
You
I'm
lost
still
Chris.
here,
The
right?
whole, no, you lost me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we lost Chris. Sorry.
It's a great
He's still
argument.
here.
That was
We're
maybe
fine.
one of our best debates.
True.
There,
Let us know what you think out there. Does it go Christmas? Does it go Halloween? Where do you need feeling? Is it just aesthetic? Let us know what you need in your holiday movies.
I mean, fucking Die Hard doesn't really seem like it's really that happy-go-lucky and presents and all that. Kris Kringle and tinsel and all that. But you guys are saying.
But we're going to move on to Mount Rushmore top 4.
Mount Rushmore top 4.
Welcome back to Mount Rushmore. You missed about a 20-minute argument on Christmas and Halloween movies, but this week we're going to be doing our favorite stop-motion claymation movies. We're going to go Mark, Jordan, Chris, me. Mark, what's your number one?
Okay, I'm going to stick with the same director. It's something I had VHS growing up. I love this movie still to this day. It's James and the Giant Peach.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't know why they're going to New York. I don't know what the plot is about. I don't know why he even needs to have the peach or if he monetized the peach.
It looked delicious.
So you're telling me that's another movie you watched so young you don't exactly remember it, but it's nostalgic and you like it.
Correct.
That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid. It was a little creepy for some reason.
It was creepy. Yeah, it had a little
Grasshopper.
Another musical.
Yeah.
It was the worm. The worm creeped me out.
It also it's got similarities to A Nightmare Before Christmas, but it was more palatable because it wasn't like centered
brighter
around
colors.
a holiday.
It had colors.
Yes.
I always wanted to make a lantern out of like a popcorn bag because of that movie.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, burn down your house.
No, well, okay.
No, popcorn bag should.
The peach
should
is my
resist it.
house, Jordan.
That's true. That's true.
The ants in that movie freaked me out a lot.
I get that. Jordan, you're up next. What's your number two?
Go back, listen to our Paranorman. I like it. It is a Halloween movie. I think it's funny. I think it holds up, and I do quite like their characters. I don't always like stop motion characters the way they look, but I think theirs work really well.
I do love me some Paranorman. That is a perennial watch for me now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys watched it yet?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
Saving it for a little bit later. Got to go hard in the
There's
paint.
not much later.
That's true. I watch it tonight.
That's
will watch it
something
tonight.
I'll fail on where I'm like, I'm going to watch Hocus Pocus like on the 30th, and like I never get to it.
Chris made me do 1 and 2 at the start of October, so it's out of the way for me. Chris is an early scary movie person. I'm fine.
I'm a rewatch of classics.
Yeah, I get what your thing is. Chris, you're up next. What is your favorite stop motion?
Well, I was gonna go Paranorman. That was a really good one.
Solid. Good. I'm glad we agreed.
Solid number 2.
I'm gonna go honorable mention Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie. You can't throw out an honorable mention. That's your number 3.
Well, no. Well,
that's your number 3.
That's okay. It's
my
so
number. It was not your first pick.
It's not my first pick, but
it's
it's my second choice.
It's his follow-up.
Frankenweenie.
Did you watch the live action, or were you just a claymation?
I watched both, but I like the production value of the
claymation one better. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a sad story.
I mean, the live
but
action was like I think
it's
just a
also
student
good.
film or something too. So I mean,
Yeah, it was like his thesis film, I think, from college.
yeah. So I mean, it can't be.
I've
best
never
production.
seen live action. I've never seen that.
It's on Disney
Okay.
Plus.
It predated. Yeah, it's probably only like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's like
a half an hour.
It's like a half hour probably.
It's a short.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank God no one said it, but my favorite is Corpse Bride. Also Tim Burton. This is when we get Johnny Depp in there. I feel like this was their refined Nightmare Before Christmas. The songs are catchier.
That's how I feel.
It's just I like it a lot.
There's a better love story there, right?
Yeah, it's just a better story. It has a full story instead of just being like kind of a musical sing-along, you know?
I wouldn't say you couldn't have Corpse Bride without Nightmare on Elm Street, but
Nightmare
it seems
Before
like
Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas, but it definitely seems like that Nightmare Before Christmas crawled, so
Yeah, it opened the
Corpse
door
Bride
for
could,
it,
like, spread,
most
yeah.
definitely. No, I agree with you.
Whatever that analogy is, fill in the analogy
And I
for
think
me.
that's maybe why I like Corpse Bride so much now, and it's harder for me to watch Nightmare Before Christmas. I think that was just catered towards a younger audience. The songs are a little just like more toddlerish, whereas Corpse Bride is just a little more adult catered.
In
I'll agree-
Corpse
I'll
Bride's
agree with that.
defense, though, towards Nightmare Before Christmas, it's like 25 to 30 years in advancement in like the way you could visually show things. So like that just adds so much.
I mean, and
to
it was an innovator. It did kind of just make this whole
Plus, Corpse
creepy
Bride had
genre.
like a true more like an adult story going.
Well, yeah, a story in general more so. Just like, I don't know, instead of just having a weird love interest thrown at the end, it was just more defined. So with that said, what are some of our honorable God, I can never say honorable mentions for this film. Honorable mentions.
I've got one on the tip of my tongue because Cameron and I used your Disney Plus to watch this movie. I didn't do the sing along, but then I'm like, I'm kind of in the mood for stop motion now, so I rewatched Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson.
Oh, nice.
It's solid. It's
That's
good.
on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why, but it is.
Sweet. I actually haven't seen that. I'm
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, I love that movie.
One of my favorites mentioned earlier, just from my childhood, just because I loved the humor, was Wallace and Gromit. Loved me some Wallace and Gromit.
You know, I never watched too
Admin,
much.
Admin Animations. That's Wallace and Gromit. They do Chicken Run, which I love. Chicken Run.
Chicken Run was big when we were kids, for sure.
It's the
around this time
remake
period.
of The Great Escape.
Wallace and Gromit, even better. Honestly, give that a chance. It's better than Chicken Run.
Does Wallace and Gromit? They have a Halloween special, right? I don't think I've seen it.
It's the Were Rabbit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it that?
The Were
Oh,
Rabbit.
okay.
I'm surprised none of us said Coraline, but I mean that was big, and I mean that was honestly probably on my top 4.
I find
enjoyed
it more
thoroughly.
disturbing.
Box Trolls.
It's just
Yeah, the box trolls looks awesome, but their story for me, I got lost and I'm like, what's going on here?
And I do think Monster House does a little bit of stop motion-y
that's motion
Paranorman-y
that's
stuff.
motion capture. That's a different job.
I'm gonna include it in an honorable mention.
It's different. It's CGI
So-
motion capture. I'm
gonna include it in the honorable mentions.
I gotta throw out Kuba and the Two Strings.
I was just
It's
about to say
such an epic
It
movie.
really is
It's
a
so
good movie.
I really do like it. I believe it's with
Wasn't it?
Charlize Theron
Like
and
yeah.
I can't remember who else is the voices
Didn't
of
that
it.
get an Academy Award?
Yeah, it was up for something.
Yeah.
That's how it came across.
I think
my
it was
bad.
actually maybe up for like legit just best film.
animated.
Winner or nom?
Nom, I think.
Probably won best animated, but probably lost to like a Pixar movie.
Well,
but the
Nightmare Before Christmas was actually nominated for best.
ooh,
Really nice.
That's
Good pull,
awesome.
Chris. Good pull.
Santa Claus Coming to Town, the one
Yeah,
where
well,
he's
I mean,
ginger.
obviously all the old classic, just like Rudolph, Santa
to
Claus
mention.
coming to town. Yeah, Happy the New Year one. Those should definitely be mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Thanks for listening to our take on Nightmare Before Christmas. If you like what you heard, make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Rate and review. If you want more content out there, make sure you check out I'm Not Crazy, Urban Hermit Podcast, and the Haywire Podcast. Until then, we'll check you on the next one.